Snow fell thick outside the small corner bar in Chicago, coating the windows in white as Monica Hayes let slip what she thought was just a half-joking, half-serious jab. "A black single dad like you? How could you possibly make a woman happy?" She waited for the fumbling, or at least a forced smile. But Marcus Reed only leaned in closer, his eyes calm, his voice low and steady against the bitter cold. "Wanna bet?" In that moment, Monica didn't know that the snow outside wasn't the only thing beginning to melt. The warmth inside Sullivan's barely pushed back against the January cold. Yellow lights hung low over the oak bar, their glow softened by the fog of breath and beer. Outside, snow fell in thick curtains, piling on the sidewalk, muffling the city's usual noise. Monica Hayes slid onto a bar stool near the end, unwinding her scarf with tired hands. Her fingers were stiff from the cold and from typing reports all day. Marketing deadlines didn't care about snowstorms. The bartender, an older man named Pete, nodded at her and started pouring her usual without asking. 2 stools down sat a man she hadn't noticed at first. Dark skin, close-cropped hair going gray at the temples, wearing a plain navy sweater and jeans. He wasn't looking at his phone. He wasn't trying to catch anyone's eye. He just sat there, hands wrapped around a coffee mug, watching the snow through the window like he had nowhere else he needed to be. Pete set Monica's drink down and turned to the man. "How's Eli doing? Over that cold yet?" The man's face softened. "Yeah, finally. Kept him home from school Monday and Tuesday, but he bounced back. You know how kids are. That's good. Tell him I said hi." "Will do." Monica's ears caught on the name, on the context. Single dad. She'd heard enough conversations in this bar to piece things together. Pete had that way of talking to regulars like they were family. She didn't mean to say it out loud. The words just came, loosened by exhaustion and 2 sips of whiskey. "A black single dad like you? How could you possibly make a woman happy?" The bar didn't go silent. The jukebox kept playing. Someone laughed at a table in the back. But the air between them changed. Marcus turned his head slowly, not with anger, but with something closer to curiosity. His eyes met hers, steady and unblinking. "Wanna bet?" Monica blinked. She'd expected defensiveness, maybe a sharp retort. Instead, his voice was calm, almost amused. It threw her off balance. "I'm serious," she said, doubling down even as her face warmed. "You've got a kid. You're busy. You're stretched thin. What woman wants to come second to all that?" Marcus set his mug down gently. "You think that's how it works? Isn't it?" He studied her for a moment, then shifted on his stool to face her more directly. Not crowding her space, just present. "Maybe you're right," he said. "Maybe I can't make a woman happy. Or maybe you've decided what happy means without asking." Monica opened her mouth to respond, then closed it. The ease in his tone disarmed her. He wasn't fighting. He wasn't trying to prove anything. He was just there. Pete moved down the bar, wiping glasses, pretending not to listen. Marcus picked up his mug again. "I've got a 7-year-old son. His name's Eli. He's the best part of my day, every day. Does that mean I'm stretched thin? Sure. Does it mean I don't have time for a relationship? No. It means I don't have time for games." He took a sip of coffee, unhurried. "I'm not trying to win you over," he continued. "I'm just saying, maybe the problem isn't that I'm a single dad. Maybe it's that you think love means being someone's whole world. It doesn't. It means being part of a world that already exists and choosing to show up for it." Monica felt something shift in her chest. Not quite guilt, not quite curiosity. Something in between. The snow kept falling outside. Marcus finished his coffee, left a few bills on the bar, and stood. He pulled a simple business card from his wallet and set it on the bar next to her glass. "If you want to finish this conversation sometime," he said, "give me a call." Then he walked out into the snow, collar turned up against the wind, leaving Monica staring at the card like it was something dangerous. Monica didn't call right away. She kept the card in her wallet, tucked behind her driver's license where she'd see it every time she paid for something. Marcus Reed, software consultant, a phone number. That was it. 3 days passed. 3 days of snow turning to slush and freezing again into gray ice. 3 days of sitting at her desk, pretending to focus on campaign metrics while replaying that conversation in her head. Maybe you think love means being someone's whole world. She hated that he was right. Or that he might be right. She wasn't sure which was worse. On Thursday evening, she called. The phone rang twice. Then she heard his voice, warm and clear. "This is Marcus. It's Monica, from Sullivan's." A pause. Not awkward, just a beat of recognition. "Hey, wasn't sure I'd hear from you." In the background, she heard a child's voice calling something she couldn't make out, then the sound of a door closing. "Sorry," Marcus said. "Just stepped into the hallway. Eli's doing homework and he doesn't understand the concept of inside voice." Monica smiled despite herself. "It's fine. I'm interrupting. You're not. He's got 15 minutes before bedtime. I've got time." She traced the edge of her desk with her finger, searching for words. "I wanted to apologize. For what I said, it was rude. It was honest. That doesn't make it okay." Marcus was quiet for a moment. When he spoke again, his voice was thoughtful. "You know what I think? I think you weren't being rude to me. You were being rude to yourself." "What's that supposed to mean?" "It means you're scared of what it would take to be with someone like me. And instead of saying, 'I'm scared,' you made it about me not being enough." Monica felt her throat tighten. She wanted to argue, but the truth of it settled on her like the weight of winter. "I've never dated someone with kids," she said quietly. "I know. How could you possibly know that? Because if you had, you wouldn't have said what you said." He wasn't being smug, just factual. It made it harder to be defensive. "So what happens now?" Monica asked. "That's up to you," Marcus said. "I'm not going to convince you that I'm worth your time. I know what I bring to the table. If you want to find out, we can have coffee. If you don't, that's okay too." Through the phone, she heard Eli's voice again, louder this time. "Dad, I need help with number 7. Marcus chuckled softly. "That's my cue." "Think about it, Monica. No pressure." "Marcus?" "Yeah? I don't think you're not enough," she said. "I think I'm scared I'm not enough." The silence on the other end wasn't empty. It was full of understanding. "Then let's find out together," he said. Coffee. Saturday afternoon. "There's a place called North Star on Ashland. 2 o'clock? Monica exhaled. Okay. After they hung up, she sat in her quiet apartment, listening to the radiator hiss and the muffled sounds of her neighbors above. Outside, snow began to fall again, soft and steady. She watched it through the window, feeling something unfamiliar stirring in her chest. Not hope, exactly. Not yet. But maybe the beginning of it. Saturday came with clear skies and the kind of cold that made breath visible. Monica stood outside North Star Cafe, watching through the fogged window as people inside nursed their drinks and typed on laptops. She was 10 minutes early, a habit she couldn't break even when she was nervous. Marcus arrived exactly at 2. She watched him walk up the street, hands in his coat pockets, no rush in his stride. When he saw her, he smiled, easy and warm. "You came," he said. "I said I would. People say a lot of things." They went inside, ordered coffee, and found a table by the window where the afternoon light cut across the worn wood. Monica wrapped her hands around her mug, feeling the heat seep into her palms. "Tell me about your work," Marcus said. So she did. She talked about campaigns and deadlines, about the strange satisfaction of watching something she'd created go live and knowing thousands of people would see it. She talked about her team, about the pressure to always be on, to always have the next idea ready. Marcus listened, Really listened. Not the kind of listening where someone's just waiting for their turn to talk, but the kind where they're actually taking you in. "What about you?" Monica asked. "Software consultant." "What does that actually mean?" He smiled. "It means I fix problems other people created. Usually because someone skipped a step to save time, or because two systems don't talk to each other the way they should." Sounds frustrating. It is. But it's also satisfying when you figure it out. Like solving a puzzle. "Do you work from home?" "Mostly, yeah. Sometimes I have to go on site, but I try to keep those trips short. Eli's got school, activities. I don't want to miss more than I have to." There it was. The thing Monica had been waiting for. The shadow that had been hanging over the conversation since they sat down. "Tell me about him," she said. Eli. Marcus's whole face changed. Not dramatically, but enough. His shoulders relaxed. His voice softened. "He's 7. He loves dinosaurs, hates broccoli, and thinks fart jokes are the pinnacle of comedy. He's smart, sometimes too smart. Asks questions I don't have answers for." "Like what?" "Last week, he asked me why people are mean to each other if everyone's just trying to be happy." Monica felt something in her chest loosen. "What did you tell him?" "I told him I didn't know, but that it's our job to be kind anyway." They sat in the quiet that followed, watching snow begin to fall again outside, light and lazy. "I'm not looking for a mother for him," Marcus said suddenly. "I want you to know that." Monica looked up, surprised. "I'm a good dad," he continued. "Eli and I, we're solid. What I'm looking for is someone who wants to build something with me, not someone who feels like they have to prove they're okay with my kid existing." "That's fair," Monica said. "Is it something you want?" he asked. "Not right now, but eventually." Building something with someone who already has a whole life set up? She thought about it. Really thought about it. Not the fantasy version, but the real one. The schedules, the compromises, the fact that she'd never be the only priority. "I don't know," she said honestly. "But I want to find out." Marcus nodded. "That's all I'm asking." When they left the cafe an hour later, the snow had covered the sidewalk in fresh white. Their footprints marked the path behind them, 2 sets of tracks walking side by side. 2 weeks passed in a rhythm Monica hadn't expected. They texted throughout the day, not constantly, but consistently. Marcus would send her a photo of something Eli said that made him laugh. She'd send him articles she thought he'd find interesting. It was easy, comfortable. They met for coffee again. Then for lunch. Then for a walk along the lakefront, even though it was freezing and the wind off the water bit through their coats. "You're insane," Monica said, laughing as she pulled her scarf tighter. "It's 12 degrees. It's refreshing," Marcus countered, his breath misting in front of him. "It's hypothermia waiting to happen." But she didn't turn back. They kept walking, past the empty beaches and the frozen waves, talking about nothing and everything. About their childhoods, their families, their mistakes. Monica told him about the relationship that had ended a year ago, about feeling like she'd wasted 3 years on someone who was never really present. Marcus told her about Eli's mother, not with bitterness, just with fact. "We were young," he said. "Too young. We loved each other, but we weren't ready for a kid. When Eli was 2, she decided she needed to figure out who she was without us. So she left." "Do you hear from her?" "Occasionally. Birthday cards, Christmas calls. She's living in Denver, doing her thing. Eli knows who she is, but he doesn't really know her." "That must be hard," Monica said. "For both of you." "It was. Now it just is." He glanced at her. "I don't want you to think I'm bitter. I'm not. She did what she needed to do, and I respect that. But it means I learned early that love isn't just a feeling. It's a choice you make every single day." They stopped walking, standing on the path with Lake Michigan stretching out gray and endless beside them. Monica looked at him, at the steadiness in his face, and felt something shift inside her. "I've never met anyone like you," she said. "Is that good or bad?" "I'm not sure yet," he smiled. Fair enough. The following Saturday, Marcus invited her to meet Eli. "No pressure," he'd said over the phone. "We're going to the park. He wants to play soccer even though there's snow everywhere. You're welcome to come, but only if you want to." Monica had stood in her apartment, phone in hand, feeling her heart race. This was the line. Once she crossed it, there was no pretending this was casual. "I'll be there," she said. The park was mostly empty, white and quiet except for the sound of kids shouting in the distance. Marcus was already there when Monica arrived, standing near the soccer field in his usual calm way, and next to him, bundled in a puffy blue coat and a hat with a dinosaur on it, was Eli. He was small, all big eyes and energy contained poorly in a 7-year-old body. When he saw Monica, he waved. "Hi, are you my dad's friend?" Monica walked over, her boots crunching in the snow. "I am. My name's Monica. I'm Eli. Do you like soccer?" "I've never really played." His eyes widened like she'd just said she'd never seen the sun. "Never? Want me to teach you?" She glanced at Marcus, who shrugged with a small smile. "Sure," Monica said. For the next hour, she chased a soccer ball through the snow while Eli shouted instructions and Marcus watched from the sideline. Hands in his pockets, something warm and quiet in his expression. It wasn't perfect. Monica slipped twice. Her hands got numb. But Eli laughed, and Marcus looked at her like she was doing something brave. And for the first time, she thought maybe she could do this. Monica started seeing them once or twice a week. Never forced. Never scheduled with the weight of obligation. Just easy invitations. Pizza night. A movie. Homework help, though Eli mostly wanted to show off what he already knew. "Did you know a Tyrannosaurus Rex had teeth the size of bananas?" Eli asked one evening, sitting at Marcus's kitchen table with his science book open. "I did not know that," Monica said, pretending to be shocked. "It's true. Dad, tell her it's true." Marcus looked up from the stove where he was making spaghetti. "It's true. Though technically, they varied in size." Eli rolled his eyes. "Dad always does that. He can't just say yes." Monica laughed. "That's because your dad likes being accurate. It's boring. It's useful," Marcus corrected. Watching them together, Monica saw the kind of relationship she hadn't known was possible between a parent and child. There was structure, yes. Bedtime was bedtime. Homework had to be done, but there was also laughter. There were negotiations. There was respect that went both ways. One night, after Eli went to bed, Monica and Marcus sat on the couch with the lights low, the TV playing something neither of them was really watching. "You're good with him," Marcus said. "I don't know what I'm doing," Monica admitted. "That's okay, neither does anyone else." She turned to look at him. "Does it ever scare you? Being responsible for another person, every day. How do you deal with it?" Marcus thought about it. "I just show up. That's all any of us can do. Show up and try to do better than yesterday." Monica leaned her head against his shoulder. He was warm and solid, and for the first time in a long time, she felt like she could stop running from something she couldn't name. "I'm glad I met you," she said quietly. "Me too." It was easy to believe, in that moment, that everything would be fine. But life has a way of testing easy things. It happened on a Wednesday. Monica was at work when her phone buzzed with a text from Marcus. "Eli's sick, high fever. Taking him to urgent care. Have to cancel tonight. Sorry." She stared at the message, her stomach tightening. They were supposed to have dinner. She'd been looking forward to it all week. "No problem. Let me know how he is." She didn't hear from him again until late that night. A brief text. "Home now. He's okay. Just needs rest." Thursday passed with minimal contact. A few texts, all short, all focused on Eli. By Friday, Monica felt a familiar anxiety creeping in. the kind she'd felt in past relationships when she realized she was waiting for someone to have space for her. Saturday came and went. No call, no invitation. Sunday morning, she texted him. "How's Eli doing?" The response came an hour later. "Better. Thanks for asking." That was it. Monica sat on her couch, staring at her phone, feeling something cold settle in her chest. She wasn't angry, not exactly, but she felt it, the thing she'd been afraid of from the beginning. She was always going to come second. It wasn't Marcus's fault. It wasn't Eli's fault. It was just the reality of the situation, and the more she thought about it, the more she realized she didn't know if she could live with that. Monday evening, she called him. "Hey," Marcus said, sounding tired. "Sorry, I've been quiet. It's fine." "Is Eli okay?" "Yeah, he's good. Back to school today. It was just a rough few days. I'm glad he's better." Silence stretched between them, uncomfortable and unfamiliar. "Marcus," Monica said slowly, "I think we need to talk." Another pause. "Okay. When? Tomorrow? Can we meet at the park?" "Yeah, sure." When they hung up, Monica sat in the dark of her apartment, feeling the weight of what she was about to do. She didn't want to, but she also didn't know how not to. The park was empty when Monica arrived. Snow had fallen overnight, covering the benches and the paths in fresh white. The sky was the color of steel, heavy and low. Marcus was already there, standing near the same soccer field where she'd first met Eli. His hands were in his pockets, his breath misting in the cold. She walked up to him, and he turned, his expression careful. "Hey," he said. They stood there for a moment, neither quite knowing how to start. "I'm listening," Marcus said finally. Monica looked at the ground, at the snow under her boots. "This week was hard. I know. I'm sorry. You don't need to apologize." She forced herself to meet his eyes. "That's the problem. You didn't do anything wrong, but I still felt like I was being left out, like I was waiting for you to have time for me, and I don't know if I can do that." Marcus was quiet. He didn't argue, didn't try to convince her she was wrong. "I get it," he said. "Do you?" "Yeah." He looked past her, at the empty field. "You're scared that you'll always come second, that no matter how much time we spend together, there's always going to be something more important." He nodded slowly. "And you're right." The words hit her harder than she expected. "Eli will always come first," Marcus continued. "That's not something I can change. That's not something I should change. If you're looking for someone who can make you the center of their universe, that's not me." Monica felt tears prick her eyes. "I don't want to be selfish." "You're not selfish. You're honest." His voice was gentle, but firm. "And I'd rather you be honest now than resentful later." "So that's it?" Marcus stepped closer, just enough that she could see the sadness in his face. "I care about you, Monica, more than I thought I would. But I can't be someone I'm not, and you shouldn't have to settle for something that doesn't make you happy." She wanted to argue, wanted to say she could do it, that she could learn to be okay with the way things were. But the words wouldn't come, because deep down, she wasn't sure. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "Me too." They stood there for a while longer, the snow falling around them, soft and silent. Then Monica turned and walked away, her footprints marking a solitary path through the white. Marcus stayed, watching her go, feeling the cold settle into his bones. The days after were gray. Monica went to work. She met deadlines. She smiled at colleagues and pretended everything was fine. But at night, alone in her apartment, she felt the weight of the silence. She thought about calling him, texting him, asking if they could try again. But every time she picked up her phone, she remembered the look on his face when he said, "Eli will always come first," and she didn't know if that was something she could accept. Her friend Rachel noticed first. "You've been weird," Rachel said over lunch one Thursday. "What's going on?" Monica poked at her salad. "I ended things with Marcus." "The single dad?" "Yeah." Rachel studied her. You want to talk about it? So, Monica told her. About the week Eli was sick. About feeling like she was always waiting. About the fear that she'd never be enough. Rachel listened, then leaned back in her chair. Can I be honest? Please. I think you're scared of the wrong thing. Monica frowned. What do you mean? You keep saying you're scared of coming second. But I don't think that's it. I think you're scared of the responsibility, of what it means to be with someone who already has a whole life that doesn't revolve around you. Monica opened her mouth to argue, then stopped. I've been married for 5 years, Rachel continued. And you know what I've learned? Love isn't about being someone's whole world. It's about building a world together. And yeah, sometimes that means you're not the priority in that exact moment. But that doesn't mean you're not important. But what if I can never compete with his kid? It's not a competition, Rachel said gently. That's the whole point. Monica sat with that, really sat with it. And slowly, she began to realize that Rachel was right. She wasn't afraid of coming second. She was afraid of what it would mean to love someone without the guarantee that she'd always be the most important thing in their life. She was afraid of being vulnerable in a way she'd never had to be before. That night, she lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, and let herself imagine what it would look like to try again. To step into Marcus's life not as someone competing for space, but as someone choosing to be part of something already whole. It was terrifying, but for the first time, it also felt possible. Monica found him on a Saturday morning, back at the same park. He was there with Eli, watching him kick a soccer ball across the patchy snow. The field was a mess of white and brown, winter refusing to fully give way to spring. She stood at a distance for a moment, watching. Marcus looked the same, steady, present. Patient as Eli shouted for him to watch a move he'd been practicing. Then Eli saw her. Monica. He ran over, all energy and no hesitation. Marcus turned, surprise flickering across his face. Hey, buddy, Monica said, crouching down. How've you been? Good. I got an A on my science test. Want to see? Absolutely. Marcus walked over, slower, his expression careful. Hey. Eli, oblivious to the tension, chattered on about school and soccer and a new dinosaur book he was reading. Monica listened, laughed in the right places, and tried to ignore the way her heart was racing. Finally, Eli ran back to the ball, and it was just the two of them. I didn't expect to see you here, Marcus said. I needed to talk to you. He waited, patient as always. Monica took a breath. For what? For running. For being scared. For thinking that love had to look a certain way for it to be real. Marcus's expression softened, but he didn't make it easy. What changed? I did. Or I'm trying to. She looked at him, letting herself be vulnerable in a way she hadn't before. I don't need you to choose me over Eli. I don't need to be your whole world. I just need to know there's a place for me. For both of you. He studied her, quiet and thoughtful. This isn't going to be easy. I know. There are going to be times when I can't show up the way you want. When Eli needs something and you have to wait. I know. And you're okay with that? Monica nodded. I'm not saying I'll be perfect. I'm saying I'm willing to try. Marcus was silent for a long moment, and she could see him weighing it. Not because he didn't care, but because he did. Because he wasn't going to let her back in unless he believed she meant it. Finally, he spoke. I missed you. Relief flooded through her. I missed you too, but I need you to be sure, he said. Not just right now, in this moment, but tomorrow, and next week, and the first time Eli gets sick again and I have to cancel plans. I'm sure, Monica said. Not because I have it all figured out, but because I want to figure it out with you. Eli ran back over, panting. Are you staying? He asked Monica. She looked at Marcus. He looked back. Something warm and tentative in his eyes. Yeah, Monica said. I'm staying. Eli grinned. Good. Dad's terrible at soccer. I heard that, Marcus said. They spent the rest of the morning at the park, the three of them chasing a ball through the snow. It wasn't perfect. Monica still didn't really know how to play. Her hands got cold, but she was there. And that was enough. 3 months later, spring was finally making its first real attempt at arrival. The snow had melted, leaving behind brown grass and puddles. The trees were starting to bud, and the air had lost its sharpest edge. But on this particular Saturday morning, there was one last snowfall. Light, unexpected, like winter was saying goodbye. Marcus, Monica, and Eli stood outside Donut Vault, the small shop with fogged windows and the smell of sugar drifting out every time someone opened the door. "Can I get the one with the rainbow sprinkles?" Eli asked, pressing his face against the glass display. "You can get whatever you want," Marcus said. They ordered, found a table by the window, and sat with their donuts and coffee, watching the snow fall outside. Eli talked between bites, telling a story about something that happened at school. Monica listened, asking questions, fully present in a way that had stopped feeling strange and started feeling natural. Marcus watched them, a small smile on his face. "What?" Monica asked, catching his look. "Nothing. That's not nothing." He shrugged. "Just glad you're here." She reached across the table, her hand covering his. "Me too." Eli, oblivious, kept talking. "And then Trevor said that dinosaurs couldn't have been that big, and I told him he was wrong. And Miss Palmer said we should look it up together. And we did. And I was right." "Of course you were," Monica said, smiling. Later, after they left the shop and the snow had stopped, they walked through the neighborhood, the streets quiet and clean. Eli ran ahead, jumping over puddles, his laughter echoing off the buildings. Marcus took Monica's hand. "Thank you." "For what?" "For coming back. For trying. Thank you for letting me." They walked in comfortable silence for a while, watching Eli's boundless energy, feeling the last of winter's chill in the air. "Do you ever think about the future?" Monica asked. "All the time." "What do you see?" Marcus glanced at her. "Honestly? More of this. Not perfect, not always easy, but real." Monica nodded. "That sounds good to me," because that was the thing she'd finally learned. Love wasn't about being someone's entire world. It wasn't about grand gestures or perfect moments. It was about showing up. It was about choosing, every single day, to be part of something messy and complicated and beautiful. It was about standing in a donut shop on a Saturday morning while snow fell outside, listening to a 7-year-old talk about dinosaurs, and knowing that this, right here, was enough. "Come on," Eli shouted from up ahead. "You guys are so slow." Marcus and Monica exchanged a look, then picked up their pace, jogging to catch up with him, their breath misting in the cold. And as they walked together through the neighborhood, their footprints marking the fresh snow, Monica felt something settle in her chest. Not certainty, exactly, not the promise that everything would always be easy, but peace. The kind of peace that comes from knowing you've found something worth staying for, even when it snows, even when life gets complicated. Because sometimes, being part of the constellation is enough.